Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, some things have changed in here. Basically because I had a bunch of time at Christmas, I took a long time off, which allowed me to do a lot of stuff in my house. And in the past video, I said that I had 6 weeks off. A bit excessive when it comes to rest, but I wanted to get other stuff done in my life, and I just felt like I needed a break. A lot of you commented and have messaged me since saying it was really nice to see you say that it's okay to take a break and to take rest. And I feel that people, particularly in CrossFit, really struggle to take rest. In fact, I had an Instagram message the other day where someone messaged me saying, look, I know I should have a rest day a week, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I feel like I'm gonna lose all my gains. Now, I could give you lots of reasons why I feel you should be taking rest, but I thought that I would use something with a bit more validation. So this is a book. Lots of us haven't seen books for quite some time. You can find this on the internet as well. This is a book on periodization by Tudor Obompa. Probably the most respected book when it comes to periodization. And periodization, if you're unsure of what that is, it's in its vaguest term, is basically a way of setting up your training to a lot for recovery, to a lot to get to a peak for a certain competition or show or whatever that may be. So it's about setting up your training and everything that comes with that. And there's some really great bits here on rest and recovery, and that's what I want to share with you now. Okay, just some opening points, because I know we have people from different ages, and actually these ages kind of fall perfectly into the demographic of our channel, so it works great. The athlete's age affects recovery. Athletes older than 25 require longer recovery periods after training than younger athletes. Athletes younger than 18 require longer rest periods between workouts to facilitate overcompensation. Athletes with more experience will recuperate because they have a much faster physiological adaptation and perhaps more efficient movement. So that is our first kind of inkling into work capacity a little bit there. It's like once you've become accustomed to the workload, you've been training more, your movement is more efficient, your recovery is potentially going to be better. So in hindsight, there's actually a little bit that I would like to add here around work capacity. Now, work capacity is incredibly important for progressive overload. Our body adapts to doing what it hasn't done before. It adapts to stress. However, it would be foolhardy to be new to CrossFit, for example, and go from doing classes for 2 weeks to trying to do Rich Fronin's work capacity, which we know is a lot. For simple reasons. One, your body's not going to probably recover from that. You're going to get injured, potentially, and your immune system is potentially going to suffer as well. It's too much to take. Also, let's just say theoretically, your body could go from this to doing this and handle it. You've missed all these other stages that you could have potentially made gains at without having to do all that extra work. And that particularly applies to maybe bodybuilding. Like the body will adapt to doing more over time, but we don't necessarily always want, unless it's performance or a certain goal is the outcome, which is around doing X amount of workload, we don't necessarily want to skip all those steps because we're having to work harder and we're having to do more. And as we said before, if you constantly have to do more than you've done before for your body to progress, then you may potentially be shooting yourself in the foot. Work capacity is awesome. We want to have great work capacity, but we don't necessarily want to rush the time it takes to build that up. So it's about finding that balance, as with everything in life. So I'm just picking out points here that I think are of note. Complete rest is the main physiological means of restoring work capacity. Athletes require 9 to 10 hours of sleep, 80 to 90% of it during the night. The balance may be completed by naps during the day. Naps should be guided so they do not affect the work and training cycle. But that's kind of obvious. We know that we need sleep, but most of us don't get 8 hours, certainly not unbroken sleep. So if you got to think, does that then become compounding? If you're training a lot and you're getting 5 hours of sleep multiple nights in a row, does that add on top of each other and create a larger deficit by the end of the week? One thing we hear a lot, and maybe we don't really put a term on, is central nervous system fatigue. And there's a kind of a cool bit in here. Fatigue is located in the central nervous system because the regeneration of a nervous cell is 7 times slower than that of muscle cells. Pay attention to neurophysiological recovery. When the athlete restores the CNS, which leads and coordinates all human activity, he or she can concentrate better, perform skills more correctly, react faster and more powerfully to internal and external stimuli, and subsequently maximize our work capacity. So what I feel we can take away from that is kind of avoiding or more so recovering from central nervous system fatigue is very important, because the central nervous system is controlling a lot of what we do there. Like you heard what it said is that when you recovered, you can perform skills better, you can be quicker and faster at reacting to internal and external stimuli or stimulus. So an external stimulus could be the workout, it could be the weight on the bar, and obviously power and speed is two things that we definitely want when we're training. Something else that's very important when we play sports and when we do CrossFit and those type of things is the replenishment of energy systems like adenosine triphosphate or the creatine phosphate system. That's going to be for short, sharp sprints. So depending on the type of exercise you're doing and the type of training you're doing, you can manipulate your rest and recovery and also the foods and how much food you may eat. And one thing that's quite cool on here is they talk about the recovery of glycogen. Now glycogen is stored carbohydrates. When we want energy, we often use glucose, blood sugar, and that's what glycogen gets freed from our muscle stores or from our liver stores, gets put into our blood as glucose, and our brain is particularly hungry for that. Now, you can run off ketones and you can work off fat once you become fat adapted, but I think it's a general consensus that a fat heavy diet which is lower in carbohydrates, maybe slightly more ketogenic, is perhaps more suited to lower intensity exercise. Something that as CrossFit is going to be very glycolytic with the energy systems that you work in, but it also crosses lots of different energy systems. Like it can be short explosive power with cleans, and then as the workout might progress, it might come into aerobic glycolysis, then it might go into a more aerobic exercise where we're going to rely more heavily on fat. So it makes sense from my point of view, this is my personal opinion, that carbohydrates are quite an important part into training with CrossFit, especially if you're training often and quite intensely. On your rest days, that is a chance for you to really fill up and restore those glycogen stores. I like, off the top of my head, again, this is something you'd probably want to research. I think between 400 to 500 grams of glycogen can be stored in your body through your muscles and through your liver. That's in my head from way back in my PT days. I will probably check that before I put this up, but it's pretty much irrelevant. The point is that if you're constantly hammering it and maybe your food's not quite on point, having a rest day and keeping and improving the food that you have is going to allow you to recover and replenish those glycogen stores, which next time you're in the gym is going to allow you to perform better. Okay, with all that being said, hopefully we can agree that a rest day or a rest week is certainly not a bad thing to do. Often you will find in periodized, it's so hard to say, in periodized training programs, maybe every 6 weeks there's a deload or a rest week to allow the body to recover. And you'll also look at certain squat programs. It's not always at 100% intensity, it's kind of undulating, it goes ups and downs to allow the body to adapt and to recover. The best way to explain this is the more you abuse the body and the less you look after it, the more rest you're going to require at some shape or form at some time. Whether that's rest because you're injured, whether that's rest because you're fatigued. So all of these, as everything with fitness, kind of work into a ball together, and it's super important that we really look after our rest and recovery and listen to the symptoms. Me personally, I get mentally fatigued before I feel I'm physically fatigued in my body, and that's because I'm someone who overthinks stuff. I have a lot going on, and it's not always just external stimuli, so training, that equates to how stressed we are and how much recovery we need. Sometimes it's our mental state, and certainly that's why I took a longer time off over Christmas, because I was able to focus on lots of other stuff like fixing my house and all those type of stuff that is important to me. So with that being said, hopefully I've convinced you why you need to consider your rest and maybe take it more seriously. And for that person who's not resting at all, if you rest at least once a week, I think you're going to find that your gains will improve because you'll be able to perform at a higher intensity. I find it much easier to talk when I'm not reading for a book. Anyway, I'm going to the gym, to the box, to train with Matt and the boys that I haven't seen for some time. It's going to be my first session back, really, at the box since Christmas. I think we're doing some cleans and snatches. Let's see what happens. Back in Spitfire with the usual gang today, rocking my BFG hoodie. Dave has been laying like latex in the floor where the concrete had cracked a little bit and dipped, so getting that fixed. So we are downstairs today. Matt said we are cleaning, so I guess we're working up to a heavy because we're training with Matt, and that's normally what happens. Ben is here as well. Ted is hiding. Oh yes, oh yes. Good
kettlebell.
Oh, my knee sleeves smell bad. In the last video, you may remember me saying I had a bit of a sciatic problem. Well, I saw Sam, who's the physio, everything else, super intelligent guy in here, and he basically took me through some things on my core, and we did a really cool drill to see if I could keep my core locked on, had a big assessment, and if you want to know more about it, I will show you in a video. Maybe I'll get Sam to come on with us, but basically what we did is we put a belt, you know, like a lifting belt on, but didn't have it super tight. So when you push your gut out, you know, how you feel your belly full of air to brace your core, that would then pick up tension with the belt, and you could feel contact with the belt all the way around your back, through your belly and your sides. And what would happen is, as I was squatting, my hips would change position, I'd lose my core tension. So let's say that my back was touching the belt, there'd be a point where I could probably get my fingers in that gap, so I'd kind of lost tension, and that was kind of taking my back out of position and potentially pissing off my facet joints on my back, and that was annoying my sciatic nerve and going down the back of my knees. If you want to know a little more about that, I will happily show you in a video. You'll just have to let me know in the comments. In the meantime, let's get warmed up. Well, place.
Morning, Matt. How are you?
Right.
How was your Crimbo?
Good. I haven't seen you since then, have I?
No. How was your New Year's Eve? I heard that you got very drunk on New Year's Eve.
Well, for up, I wouldn't say it was very drunk.
I would say it's pretty drunk if you're drunk. How you feeling though?
Good. 3 days off the gym.
Yeah.
First time in a year.
And how do you feel about that?
Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing what a bit of rest can do, eh?
Yeah. Boring though, isn't it?
Where's my rest muscle and how do I train it? That felt way harder to hit 100 kilos than it does normally. I guess that's what you have when you have 6 weeks off, but we'll keep pushing. Last time I power cleaned, I hit a PB with Zach, which was 115 kilos. Yeah, let's find out what happens.
Now I'm moving closer to you, and it's getting dark in this room. Tell me what you wanna do.
Fucking easy.
When I look in your eyes, I don't know how, but it feels like I'm drunk on you. It's almost like you make me.
Matt PB'd his clean at 152.5. Ben PB'd his clean at 112 when originally I think he had 105, so nice. I was nowhere near mine, I hit 105, so 10 kilos off. Now we're gonna do some squat cleans and just take your time getting back in the motion of the ocean, protecting the back a little bit as well. That's why I've been wearing a belt since a really low weight, so I can work on getting that core braced all the way around through the whole lift.
When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took an L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control now.
We're doing full on bro sesh, we've done power cleans, we've done squat cleans, now we're gonna snatch, because we're stupid. After that first pull, I knew that was gonna be hard. 85. Getting close, well happy with that. Hit high pull, snatch up to 85, which is probably as good as I've done before. Max snatch is 95, 1RM, that is a real 1RM. We're going 87.5, missed it 3 times. Hopefully we'll hit it next time. Good session, Matt. You're on camera.
Good.
Good.
PB, so always good, isn't it?
152.
0.5.
What were you up for?
150. But I needed that.
That's 2.5 kilos.
I haven't needed that for ages. When we did that workout with Zach last time we trained, like 6 weeks ago, I couldn't do 150.
Who the hell power cleans 150 plus kilos anyway? That's bonkers. How did snatch feel?
Oh, I didn't get to over my wrist, a little bit sore, so
yeah.
We left it. We left it after I hit 96% snatch yesterday.
Whoop.
So I didn't really need to snatch.
Training tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I'm going to run and then do something like a competitive style workout, but I don't know what. I'm trying to do 1 a week, push myself.
What, like a sprint workout or something like that?
No, just like an actual workout for time, like as fast as I can, just
like,
to see where
like
I'm at.
Almost like an open type thing.
Yeah, like something from a comp or something that I've got like measurable scores or times to go up against, so I can kind of see where I'm at.
Yeah. Love it.
Nice to have you back.
Yeah, boy. That actually hurt.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign.